Welcome to another episode of Jet Fuel and Whiskey, the official podcast for the jet merchants and your unfiltered guide to private aviation. Today I'm going to walk you through some of the top Phenom 300 jet cards in the market. The Phenom 300 is a great light jet and has become extremely popular the last few years. What's crazy is that it feels like it was just yesterday that everyone wanted to fly in the Hawker 400 XP, but now this is the new belle of the ball. The Phenom 300 was introduced in 2009 and is known for its blend of efficiency, performance, and modern comfort. With over 1,000 units in operation worldwide, it has a top cruise speed of approximately 450 knots and a range of nearly 2,000 nautical miles, meaning it's able to go non-stop all the way from Scottsdale to Washington, D.C. Its advanced avionics, spacious cabin, and reliable performance have set the new standard in the light jet category. The plane is manufactured in Brazil by Embraer, who also makes the smaller Phenom 100 and the Praetor 500 and Praetor 600 series aircraft, which are extremely nice jets. And serving as my wingman today, I'll be enjoying a glass of BR Distilling's Blue Note Juke Joint Whiskey, straight out of Memphis, Tennessee. This isn't your grandpa's bourbon, that's for sure. Crafted in Memphis, Tennessee, by BR Distilling Company. This straight bourbon whiskey is a nod to the city's rich blues history. The name Blue Note evokes the soulful sounds of the Memphis blues, while Juke Joint tips its hat to the down-home bars where the music thrives. Though distilled and aged in Kentucky, it's bottled in Memphis, capturing the spirit of the city. With notes of vanilla, allspice, and apricot, it's smooth enough to sip neat, but bold enough to mix in a cocktail. And for a taste of history, try the uncut version. Some of those barrels survived the distillery warehouse collapse in 2019. So grab yourself a bottle, pour yourself a glass, and savor the soulful spirit of Blue Note Juke Joint Whiskey. Okay, back to business. Let's first talk about what a jet card is. In a nutshell, a jet card offers guaranteed access to private jets at fixed rates without any long-term commitments. You typically purchase 25 or 50 hours up front, or some programs allow you to pre-purchase a fund like $100,000 or $200,000, which serves as a debit style. Different programs do it different ways, but the overall concept is the same. Flyers buy jet cards because they offer simplicity, convenience, and various assurances when flying private. Aircraft owners and even fractional owners purchase jet cards for whenever their plane is down in maintenance or if they just have multiple flight needs. And even though the Phenom 300 is one of the most popular jets out there, there's only a handful of companies that actually offer guaranteed access and pricing to the specific model plane. And the ones that we're going to be covering today are AirShare, FlexJet, NetJets, and MellJets. Now there's obviously a ton of information to cover with all these different companies, but I want to keep this video short because this Blue Note Juke Joint Whiskey isn't going to drink itself. So here's what we're going to be focused on today. Purchase price, number of days of guaranteed access, number of seats in the cabin, and the base hourly rate, which excludes federal excise tax and fuel surcharges. So when it comes to pricing, the numbers can vary based on the different level you buy into, if you fly domestic or international, if you're able to take advantage of any potential incentives, and many other factors. But generally, you're going to see these rates anywhere from around $8,000 an hour to $9,000 an hour for a Phenom 300 jet card, again, before fuel and taxes. It's also important to know what's included in that price, because some jet card programs might include additional benefits like de-icing, or offer substantial discounts on round-trip travel. They may even not have a fee for traveling international. Or some also offer complimentary premium catering, all of which do add significant value. You know, it's crazy because sometimes people don't think twice about spending $30,000, $40,000 to fly coast to coast on a private jet. But the moment they get a bill for a $200 sandwich, that's when they lose it. And when you have 6 people on that flight, that's a real fun conversation to have. Now, before we jump into the data, it's important to note that this is a very dynamic business and that information that we present today could be different in a week or a month. So it's extremely important that you stay up to date with whatever provider you're speaking to make sure that the numbers are accurate when you decide to move forward and make that transaction. All right, so now let's do a little deep dive into the data and compare these 4 different companies. So first, we're going to start off with AirShare. So as we've talked about before, AirShare doesn't offer your traditional 25-hour jet card. Instead, you make an initial purchase and you have guaranteed access to 10 calendar days throughout the year. On those days, you can fly as much or as little as you want, and the airplane stays with you. So with AirShare, the initial purchase price of your Phenom 300 jet card is $110,000. And in addition to that, you're going to pay an hourly rate anytime you fly. The program offers 325 days of guaranteed access, 40 dates that are blackout, and guaranteed seating for 7. So let's assume you take a 2.5-hour flight with AirShare, and you take into consideration the $110,000 pre-purchase made, and your hourly rate of about $4,400 an hour. Your base hourly rate on a 2.5-hour flight with AirShare is going to come in at about $8,800 an hour plus tax. Now let's look at FlexJet. FlexJet's 25-hour card comes in at an initial purchase price of $213,000 before fuel and tax. FlexJet offers 355 days of guaranteed availability with 10 blackout dates, and just like AirShare, offers guaranteed seating for 7. And of course, you get to sit back in those funky interiors. So the FlexJet base hourly rate before fuel and tax is going to come in at about $79.50 an hour. Now let's take a look at the MellJets Card 275, which we covered in a previous video. The initial purchase price for your MellJets Phenom 300 jet card is going to come in at $200,000 before tax. With MellJets, you're going to enjoy 275 days of guaranteed access and 90 blackout dates. The cabin includes guaranteed seating for only 6 people, which, if you don't need that 7th seat, it could open up a little more room for you. The base hourly rate for the MellJets 25-hour Phenom 300 card on the Card 275 program is going to come in at $8,000 before tax. And then finally, we have the MellJets 25-hour premium jet card. So what's different about MellJets versus the other groups that we discussed is that they're an asset-light company. So they don't own all these airplanes like AirShare, MellJets, and FlexJet do. Instead, they have what's called the MellJets Preferred Network, which is made up of operators that have passed certain background checks and meet their insurance requirements. So what's different about MellJets versus the other guys that we mentioned is that they're an asset-light business, meaning they don't own the airplanes that they provide their clients. Instead, they have what's called the MellJets Preferred Network, which is made up of a group of operators that have passed their background checks and meet their insurance requirements. MellJets also audits these operators in their network to ensure they continue to meet those standards. So for the MellJets 25-hour Phenom 300 card, the initial purchase price is going to be $234,000 before tax. But unlike the other groups, they do provide 365 days of guaranteed access. And similar to MellJets, they offer guaranteed seating for 6. The base hourly rate with MellJets before tax is going to be about $9,300 an hour. That's it for today's episode of Jet Fuel and Whiskey. I hope you all found the information useful. If you did, be sure to like and subscribe to the channel so we can continue to put on some more content and provide some insights into the world of private aviation. In the meantime, I'm going to go back to my Blue Note Juke Joint Whiskey. Cheers.